Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Hi, Annie. Hi, Dean. Hi, Erin. We're a little bit early, so we're going to wait maybe 5 minutes just to make sure that everyone can make it to today's webinar. Feel free to also use the chat if you need to interact or if you have any questions. In the meantime, it'll be my pleasure to look at the chat and also the question section. Feel free to go take a cup of coffee, cup of water. We're still going to wait a couple of minutes. Great. So maybe let's give it 2-3 more minutes before we start this webinar. Welcome. I see new names. Okay, so let's give it 2 more minutes. You can go take a cup of coffee, water, lunch, whatever. Great. Let's give it 1 more minute just to make sure. Perfect. I think we can start. We're a smaller group today, but that's definitely okay. We're going to be able to look at the recruitment model First and foremost, my name is Sabrina, recruitment advisor at Evolia. So I take care of the recruitment needs of our clients, make sure that their needs are optimized and that everything is optimized on our end to make sure that they're able to find the best candidates and find the best tool to work with for their recruitment needs. So before we start, I just want to do a quick disclaimer. Please do not hesitate. I know I can't see you, I can't hear you, but I would love to interact with you. So feel free to use the chat, as I said earlier, and also the question box. I've also taken the time at the beginning to just write my information in the chat. So if you want to copy that and keep it close, you'll have my name, my email, and my phone number. So if there's anything after this webinar that you're unsure of, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. It'll be my pleasure to look at that with you. So before we start, I just want to let you know what we're going to look at today. For the agenda, it's going to be the setup of an account, so how we can set up an account at Evolia, what information is included in the account setup. We're going to also look at the public portal where all the jobs are versus your personalized portal that you would have access to with the recruitment model. We'll also look at candidate management because you're able to do that directly at Evolia. Our goal is really to centralize everything for you to make sure that you have everything handy on the platform, and that's what we're going to look at as well. And we're going to be able to finish by how to post jobs directly on your platform, how to create a job. But basically what we're going to look at first is the setup, which I find important. Even if you're able to create a job from scratch on the platform, I highly suggest to clients when I work with them to do the setup first. That way everything is ready for when you're ready as well to post the jobs. It's definitely easier that way. So that's where we're going to start by. So first and foremost, I'm on the general settings here that you can see, and you can also see all the options that are included in each part of the settings. So for example, here, if I click on the general settings, that's where you're able to control company name, your logo. So if there's a rebranding, if there's anything that you need to change, that's what the information, that's where the information will be found and can be modified. That's also important because that's where you can give the access to your teams. So if there is anyone that needs full access or just maybe people that need a more restrained access, that's where we'll be able to control it. So I'm definitely here to assist you, but it's just to show you that you have the flexibility within the platform to play with the permissions and with the accesses. What's interesting as well is the positions management. So just to see here, you can create all your job postings directly on the positions management. What that does is it asks you simply to create your title with a description. So that way, when you're ready and when you want to post a job, it's really easier just to click on the job that you're ready to post and for it to be directly online on our platform on Evolia. So if we take this example here, as you can see, we did not complete them in English, but it's just to show you if you click on add a new position. Just going to do an example here. That's where you're going to be able to put your title and your job description, and you can save it. Once that's done, you can also modify it. So for example, if I look at the barman one, I can click here, change information, and put a description here. So just for the exercise, I call this test 1, 2, 3, but basically that's where you're going to be able to add all the information. I see that someone else joined us, so welcome, Rebecca. Nice, nice to see you with us. As I was saying, that's where you can control as well the modifications. So sometimes the responsibilities and the role can change within the company. So that's why we leave it open here. You can always come to change it, change the information that is on the description. What's interesting as well is that you can manage locations. So for companies basically, I don't know for each one of you, but for some companies that have different locations, that's where they're going to be able to put the information. With some clients, what we do in our strategy, and it really depends on everyone's need, but that can also be strategies to put cities instead of addresses, just because sometimes the role is remote or we want to go and broaden our reach for the candidate pool. So what we do is that we go and put different either postal codes or cities so that the job can be visible in that areas, in those areas, and for talent to see us and apply to our job posting directly. Please don't hesitate once again to use the chat, to use the questions if there's anything. I'll try to take some breaks as well just to give you the time, but it's a lot of information, so feel free to ask your questions as well. As I was saying, it's going to depend on your strategy as well. So that's something that we can look at together to see how you want to be visible. For sure that if you have needs where the employee needs to be there, physically there, then we highly suggest to just put your address directly. But if we want to do a strategy to be visible and for a brand to be visible more on the map, that's definitely something that can be done as well. I see a question here from Dean, so let me just go and open it. Sync to each other, do these work together? So that's really a great question. I'm going to read it. So wondering how this compares to the hiring information in Bamboo, as Evolia and Bamboo sync to each other. Do these work together or are they independent of each other? So great question. For now, it is independent. However, we are working on integrations. We are already synced with Bamboo, basically. So we will be able to look at how we can communicate that information. For people who don't use ATSs, we have our platform that can be used, but for people who use an ATS, for example, we will have to see how we can integrate so it can centralize. And for example, if a candidate applies directly on Evolia, we would like the information to be sent, for example, to that ATS. So we would have to look at that case more specifically and in detail, Dean, but it'll be my pleasure to look at it with our devs and to see maybe what information would be needed in that case. I hope that answers the question, but feel free to add more to your question as well. Perfect. So for the locations, I think we're pretty clear here. We're going to be able to look at that more in detail when you're going to be ready to take the recruitment model and see which strategy is best for you. The last part here is the recruitment settings. That part is also important because that's where you're going to be able to put your website directly and put also about the company. So that's how the candidates will also look at you. They will see the description, which we'll see later, and also a quick text to explain the what the company does. They can also reach directly the website by clicking on the hyperlink to learn more about your company. So if you have any great initiatives that are on your website, that's a great way to put your link there and redirect the candidates to look at that information. So how Evolia works is we're on a map, which we're going to see later as well. But why are we on a map is that we were trying to differentiate ourselves, and also we're hearing a lot of pain points of our clients from maybe other platforms where they would receive a lot of candidates that were maybe out of the country or that were not at a reasonable distance to show up to work. So that's why we decided to put it on a map. So I don't know if any of you saw the platform already, but I have it here open. I won't zoom in too much because it will really tell you the area where I live. Not that I don't trust you, but it's just to keep some information confidential here. But you can see that it understands that I'm in that area and it shows me all the open jobs that are around me. So as a candidate, I can come here and add maybe terms that I'm looking for, what kind of jobs I'm looking for, and even filter it with some information that I hold dear. So for example, the salary, the industry that I'm looking at, maybe the days that I want to work as well, with the hours, I can really filter that. But what that does for you as an employer, on the other hand, is that it gives you that extra information of the distance of where a candidate applied. So it will tell you if a candidate has applied 300 kilometers away or if they applied 2 kilometers away from your job posting. So that's a huge plus. And that's why I'm also looking and introducing that with the screening questions. It's because we want to make the candidates talk before they send their CV, as it will make you save time, of course, in your candidate selection. So we give you the option to add, sorry, those ones are, I've changed them in English, but I'm really sorry for that. They're looking in French, but we're able to click here and add the questions for what we want. So I can create my question from scratch for what is necessary for me as an employer to find in a candidate. We also give you some recommendations, but you can feel free to change those recommendations as well. And you're able also to select if it's a must-have, so if it's a necessary requirement, or if it's nice to have. The candidate won't see if it's a nice to have or if it's a must-have when they answer the question, but it's really for you when you're going to be at the time to manage your candidates. You're going to be able to see which ones answer your must-have correctly and which ones answer your nice-to-haves correctly. We're going to be able to see that as well when we're going to look at the candidate management. I see new people as well, so welcome. Great. I just want to remind everyone, because we have two or three new people, feel free to use the question chat and to interact if there's anything that is unclear. So we looked at the pre-screening questions as well. One of the features as well that we can do is the spontaneous application. So what is a spontaneous application? I think most of us are familiar with it, but why does it become relevant for you? It's once again to centralize your process. A lot of clients that we were working with were telling us that they needed to manage their applications on email, by paper, because people would show up and give them a CV on paper physically, and they would have like on their website and have a lot of different platforms that they would need to look at to find those applications. So basically what we're trying to do is really add as many features to help centralize and make sure that, for example, if someone comes to your shop, for example, if that's the case, instead of taking that paper, putting it at on the pile and losing it, or maybe just never getting to it, you're able to open here what we call a spontaneous application without having a need, basically. So you don't have a need for a specific job, but we could come here and activate the spontaneous application by location, and the candidate will be able to send their CV to potentially hear from you once you're going to review the CV and see what good of a fit they can be in your company. So that is also an option, and it can be, once again, with the same strategy that we were looking at earlier, we can do that as well. If your strategy is to go and target regions, we can do it that way as well. Here you can also display a short message, a little bit similar to a job posting. You're able to put a quick summary of maybe about your company, but what I suggest mostly in the spontaneous applications is to put the kind of jobs that you're normally looking for, just so that the candidate can see if they're a good fit. Otherwise, they're going to send their CV and maybe you're going to look at it and won't see a value for it. So that's why maybe the more information that you can put there, the better it is for you and for the candidates. So lastly, for the settings, we have what we call a personalized job portal. So what we looked at earlier here, which is the public Evolia portal. As you can see, a lot of employers are on it. If I look around, maybe you can find some competitors on there, or maybe just some companies that are looking for the same talents as you. So that's why we introduced the personalized job portal, which I'll just show you here with a public company and public information that uses it, Nautilus Plus, which is a gym. They have a lot of locations. In that case, as you can see, it is an Evolia map, but on their personalized job portal, it's only their postings that are going to show for the candidate. So we're coming and we're reducing the traffic around, and we're really focusing the attention of candidates on what we have to offer instead of sending them to a public map. So both, if you have a personalized job portal, the job will still be on a public map so that you can still have that traffic and that visibility. But what I normally suggest to clients that I work with is to use this at their advantage by taking the link to their personalized portal and posting it on other platforms to go and look at different candidate pools. So for example, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, just to put a post there with the personalized portal link with only their jobs, which the candidate will be able to see and apply directly. What we were hearing a lot also is that on other platforms, the candidate would still have the option to shop around, even if there is a personalized portal. In our case, the candidate won't be able to look at your competitors if they are directed. We won't use your traffic to give it to another company. They're really, as you can see here, in this example, it's Nautilus Plus. If I really want to get out of this, I have to close it and open a new tab. I don't have any other option to look at the public portal from the personalized Nautilus Plus portal. I'll take a small break just to see. Feel free to ask your questions if something's unclear or if you need more information on what I'm presenting. Perfect. I'll come back to here. So with the personalized portal, what's interesting as well is that in this day and age of virtual and technology, we can offer also a QR code here that can be shared virtually or that you can share physically in your stores. For example, if that's the case, we can do a personalized poster with your branding, if ever you have a branding to respect, and that QR code there. So what that does is that if someone goes in person to your business and they see it, they can simply scan it and they would be directly redirected to your personalized portal with all your open jobs. So that's also a good idea for when people come and give CVs by hand or resumes by hand. Well, you can simply show them that QR code, they can scan it, and they can be redirected to your personalized portal so that everything can be digital and centralized once again. Here, a quick feature that you can also put, as you can see in the middle, it's the Evolia logo, but you can also replace the Evolia logo with your logo so that everything is with your branding. Other than that, once again, your personalized portal is at your image, so you can always use your colors, your logo. Nothing here says Evolia except in the link here, in the hyperlink, but nothing says Evolia when the candidate comes on the map. What's really interesting as well is that for your career site needs, with some clients that didn't have a career site, or if their career site was not really up to date or not as they wanted it to be, we offer in that recruitment model the opportunity to take care of your career site. So for example, I'm going to show you a company that does. Once again, it's public information, but as you can see, Blanchette Morancy here, that this is their website. And for example, I'm a candidate that knows their brand. I come on their website and want to work for them. I click on the careers tab, and automatically I'm directed to their personalized portal. So I'm able to look at the jobs on a map. Once again, it's more interactive. Visually also for the candidate, it's gonna really zoom in where they're located. So they're gonna be able to see what is close to them to apply. And then they can look at descriptions and look at which job would be of interest to them. So once again, this is a feature that is included in the recruitment model that we offer. Perfect. So we looked at the more technical side of things, which is the setup of an account. What I would love to show you now is the recruitment part, which is the job postings and the candidate management. So if there are no questions yet, I'm gonna go with the job postings here. As you can see, this is a demo platform. So for sure that the publication status will say unpublished, but in your case, you're gonna really be able to come here and look at which jobs are published and which jobs are unpublished. And it's really easy. For example, if you now have a new need for a barman with all of the same information or not, you can always change it, but you can simply click on publish and it will put it back on the map. So when I was saying it's important to do the setup first, this is the reason. When everything is set up, it's really easier for you. You can still do it from scratch if ever the setup is not done, but it's going to take more time that way. So you can always look under each job as well to see how many candidates or which candidates applied to the jobs, and you'll have their information here. What I normally like to look at is really the candidates tab, because that's where more of the information will show. I'm going to take this example, Mathieu, the third one here, just because it's the one that we took with the screening questions, just to give you a complete idea of how it looks when you've added your pre-screening questions and when a candidate applies. So as you can see, you'll have the full name of the candidate, you'll have their email, you'll have their phone number, you'll be able to see which job they applied to. You can also see the distance, so 11.8 kilometers. You can also see the location if you have more than one location, and you can also see the pre-screening questions. So in that case, they answered to 67% to the must-haves and 100% to the nice-to-have. So in that case, it's really for you to see if you're going to go beyond that point, or if for you it's a non-negotiable and they have to have 100% of the must-haves. So when I was saying earlier, it's really to help you save time. That's what I meant, because you can simply come here and maybe ignore the candidate if they're not a good fit, or simply click here and manage the status of the candidate here, because each candidate will have their own file. All the information that is shared on your end is confidential, so it's not shared to candidates, but it's really for you and your team to have it close. So you're able to come here and update the status. So for example, if you're not interested, you can simply reject it. You're also able to add the notes directly. So for example, if you want to add any notes or any files that they shared with you and you don't want to lose, I'm giving an example. If they gave you a reference document and you don't want to lose it, they sent it to you by email, you don't want to look at your emails, so you're just going to come and add that information here, and you'll have everything centralized for the candidate. What's really interesting, once again, is that you can see when you click on the candidate file, the same information that we saw in the preview earlier, you'll have it more in detail here. So you'll see the job that they applied to, the distance. Once again, you'll have the CV that you can click on and look at. If there were any notes that the candidate wrote to you as well, you'll have that here. And for the pre-screening questions, we're not only going to show you the percentage, we're going to really show you which questions were answered to correctly and which answered which questions were answered to negatively. So in that case, as you can see in that exercise that we created, because it's a demo account, and the candidate is not bilingual. So that's why they did not answer all the must-haves. After that, once again, it's really up to the employer to look at what they're going to do with the candidates, but our job is really to give you as much information and to save as much time as possible. Still no questions, so we're good. Last part here that I'm going to show you is the job postings. So how to post a job. Quite easy when the setup is done. Even if the setup is not done, it's really easy, but I really try to put the emphasis on doing this setup because that's what's gonna make you save time. So it's not a question of being easy, but more of a time efficiency. So for example, we're gonna select anything. It's a test here. It's gonna ask you the team. So if you don't have any teams, that's totally fine. It's going to be one full team, but sometimes clients like to separate their teams via different roles. So we can do that as well, which can be easier also for you to keep track of. Then when the setup is already done, as we saw in the beginning of the call, you'll have the positions that already exist. If that's not the case, you can always add the position as well here, but just for the exercise, let's select barman. You can also change the job title. So for example, the position, you call the position something internally. That's what we can create. And then for the candidate to see, then we can use a more familiar term. For example, I'm taking the example of client success every time because we hear a lot of different terms for customer service. Sometimes it's client success, customer service, you name it. So if, for example, you call it client success, internally, that's what we're going to call here. And in the job title, maybe we can use customer service because that's something that is more used by job seekers when they search for the jobs directly. It's going to then ask you to select your positions. So when your positions are all, your locations, when your locations are all created, you can also select them all at the same time, which means that you could, for example, create 5 jobs in one time. So once again, we're trying to make you save time. It's something that is possible here. So as you can see, I've added that earlier in the call with you. If the description has been added, it will follow directly. Then you can add your salary. So it can be either a fixed salary or a bracket. And after that, you can just add your pre-screening questions. So you can add them from your from your library, or if there isn't, maybe you did not add it in the library, you can always add it here, and it's going to be added to the library automatically after. And that's it. Basically, we can either, maybe that's optional, but if it's your case, you can select the days and the time that you're expecting the candidate to work for that posting. But if that's not the case, if it's a regular posting, you don't have to select it and you can simply publish. So in 2-3 clicks, I was able to create a job posting. And when I click publish, it is automatically active on the public map that we saw with all the other employers. And it is also public automatically on your personalized portal. So you could, for example, take that link, share it on another platform and say, look at our new jobs, we're hiring, take a look, and entice the candidates to apply directly to your company. Any questions, any comments that you would like to add? I've done a lot of talking, so I'll take a couple of seconds just to see if you have any questions, but basically that's the demo. It's a lot of technical information, but there is more because you're less than 10 today on the call, but not all of you are going to use the platform the same way. So that's why it's a general demo that I'm showing today, but it's going to be more specific if you want to take the time. It's going to be my pleasure to schedule some time with you and to look at your reality. I would love to hear maybe what pain points do you currently have and what's your reality with recruiting, and we can see how Evolia can be a good fit within your organization. Just to make sure that everyone saw also the my information that I've added on the chat. I've added it earlier, but you'll have my email there, my phone number. So do not hesitate to send me all the questions, or maybe just to send me a request to schedule a more personalized demo. I'm going to stay on the call a couple of minutes just in case any questions come, but other than that, I can let the other ones, so people who don't have questions, I can definitely let you go. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully I see you soon.